Jetta was designed for a diverse line of powertrains, including gasoline and diesel engines. However, not all versions were officially imported to us, but only two gasoline engines of the same volume of 1.4 liters, but of different capacities, for 122 or 150 horses, and a turbo diesel 1.6 liters. It is these cars that have become most widespread in our country. The last Jettas sold are abandoned lots from Europe with 1.6-liter turbo diesels, but the rest are rare. Modifications with a 1.2 TSI gasoline unit, as a rule, came to us from Europe, with 1.6 LMPI, from Russia, and with 1.8 TSI, 2.0 TSI, 2.5 L, from America. But the 2.0-liter diesel versions were imported from both Europe and the USA. According to employees of the branded service station, of the two 1.4-liter engines, the more powerful and high-tech unit, equipped with a turbine and compressor, turned out to be less reliable. It noted cases of piston burnout, which is manifested by engine tripping and a decrease in compression in the problem cylinder. But in a 122 horsepower colleague on a car of the first years of production, cases of premature stretching of the timing chain were revealed, to a run of 100 to 150,000 kilometers. After modernization, the chains began to serve much longer. But still, quite often, with a run of about 200,000 kilometers, the chain has to be changed. And this applies to all engines that have a similar timing drive, all 1.8 liter, as well as some units of 1.4 and 2.0 liters. You can understand what is used, chain or belt, by the engine code. And chain-driven TSI motors are afraid of parking in gear downhill. Due to the lack of pressure, the hydraulic tensioner weakens, and the chain can turn, causing the valves to meet the pistons. The 1.2-liter unit is equipped with a timing belt, which must be changed along with the rollers and tensioner every 120,000 kilometers. The weak point of this motor is the boost controller in the turbine, may fail. Its malfunction is manifested by a loss of power. Since the Jetta, the Russian assembly, appeared with us relatively recently, they are equipped with a modernized 1.6-liter engine, which eliminates the problem inherent in many Polo sedan, the use of an unsuccessful cylinder piston group. But the factory pump can still bother. On the younger brother, it does not differ in durability. The simpler design of the MPI fuel injection system makes it easy to equip this engine with gas balloon equipment, while all TSIs require the installation of more expensive LPG. In 1.6 and 2.0-liter TDI turbo diesels, the exhaust gas recirculation valves become dirty over time. The check engine light comes on. Cleaning them does not help for a long time, and replacement is expensive. The valves are supplied with the system radiator. However, domestic Culebins have learned to reflash the brains of the engine ECU so that it does not notice inoperative recirculation valves. All Jettas are front-wheel drive, equipped with mechanics and a proprietary DSG robot with 2 clutches and an adaptive control program that can adapt to the driving style, change the gearshift moment and the sport mode. Versions of the Russian assembly, instead of robots, were aggregated by the traditional Tiptronic machine. In practice, the most problem-free are manual transmission, automatic transmission, and 6-speed DSG. But in mechanics, on diesel versions, a 2-mass flywheel wears out by 150,000 kilometers, a characteristic knock when shifting gears. But the robot with 7 steps is not distinguished by reliability and dry clutch. It noted problems with the ECU, the so-called mechatronics, which is manifested by twitching in the first 2 gears and hard hits when the rest are turned on. In this case, you need to immediately go to a branded service station to carry out self-adaptation of the clutch by flashing the computer. If you drive like this for a long time, the dual clutches will wear out prematurely. And in general, they do not differ in durability. They become unusable in the region of 100,000 kilometers. There are no non-original clutches, and a branded one costs about 25,000 UAH. Most Jetta gearboxes are factory lubricated for the life of the unit. Oil needs to be changed only in a 6-speed DSG every 60,000 kilometers. A serviceable Jetta suspension is moderately knocked down and works out bumps quite elastically. On our roads, versions on 16-inch wheels are more comfortable, but on 17-inch tires with low-profile tires you don't feel a smooth ride. But the chassis is perfectly tuned and gives pleasure from active driving and dynamic cornering. Structurally, the suspension is similar to its predecessor. McPherson is used in front, and a multi-link in the back. Both axles have anti-roll bars. In general, the Jetta chassis has proven to be quite durable. In the front suspension, Only the stabilizer struts wear out faster, after 50 to 60,000 kilometers, while its bushings last a very long time and change along with the stub. At least 80,000 kilometers, the rear silent blocks of the front levers are kept. 80 to 100,000 kilometers, thrust bearings of the struts, front silent blocks, 120,000 kilometers, and ball bearings, 200,000 kilometers. The rear multi-link may require attention no earlier than 100 to 150,000 kilometers, when it will be necessary to replace rear shock absorber bumpers, bushings and stabilizer struts, silent blocks of the rear brake-up levers. The rubber bands of the remaining rear levers are able to withstand a mileage of 200,000 kilometers, while bearings also last a long time. But when the time comes to replace them, you will have to fork out, because they change only assembled with hubs, both branded and non-original. The Jetta's rack and pinion steering is equipped with an electric power steering, which is activated depending on the speed of movement. Now this node has become more reliable and no longer creates problems for the owners of such a model. Its consumables also differ in a good resource. The tips are able to run 100 to 150,000 kilometers, and the thrusts themselves even longer. There are no comments from domestic experts, and the brake system of the car